President-elect Donald Trump has made headlines once again with his recent choice for a pivotal role in the Pentagon. Trump's selection of billionaire investor Steven Feinberg for the Deputy Secretary of Defense position raises significant concerns about potential conflicts of interest. This article explores the implications of Feinberg's appointment, his prior connections, and the challenges it may pose for the defense establishment. Steven Feinberg is the co-CEO of Cerberus Capital Management, a private equity firm known for its controversial investments in the defense industry. Feinberg has long been an ally of Trump, serving on the president's Intelligence Advisory Board during the former administration. His financial background prominently features investments in military technology, particularly with companies that maintain lucrative contracts with the Pentagon. His ties to the defense sector will undoubtedly color his potential role. As the Deputy Defense Secretary, Feinberg could find himself conflicted by his financial interests. The potential for ethical dilemmas looms, particularly as he engages in budgetary decisions and technological development. Feinberg's investments raise red flags about his ability to serve impartially. Cerberus Capital has stakes in companies directly involved with military function, including those producing hypersonic missiles and other advanced technologies. This could pose a risk if Feinberg's decisions favor financial gain over national interests. Typically, federal officials are required to recuse themselves from matters involving companies they've invested in or worked for. However, balancing this requirement in the role of Deputy Defense Secretary may present challenges when navigating defense budgets and partnerships. The oversight expected in this position needs someone committed to the public interest rather than individual financial benefit. The role of Deputy Secretary of Defense encompasses vast responsibilities. The Deputy Secretary typically oversees day-to-day operations for the Department of Defense, managing a workforce of over 3 million civilian employees and service members. This position demands an individual who is both experienced and capable of discerning complex issues in a highly politicized environment. Given the Pentagon's size, the Deputy Secretary often acts as a chief operating officer. For Feinberg, the task may be particularly daunting. His lack of direct experience within the military bureaucratic framework raises questions about his prepared leadership. As Michael O'Hanlon of the Brookings Institution noted, the Pentagon is one of the largest organizations in the world, so it needs someone who can play the classic chief operations officer role. Feinberg was not the sole option for this critical position. Other candidates included Trey Stevens, a co-founder of the drone manufacturing company Anduril, former Republican Senate candidate Hung Chau, David Norquist, who previously served as deputy during Trump's first term, and Robert Wilkie, currently leading the Pentagon transition. Among these, Stevens has the advantage of recent experience in developing defense technology, particularly in unmanned systems. This focus on modernization highlights an essential area where the Pentagon seeks to pivot away from traditional defense contractors. Despite competitors, Feinberg's deep-seated ties to Trump and financial backing might have given him the edge. Critics argue that a choice focused on business acumen over military expertise could lead to troubling outcomes. Critics, particularly progressives, have articulated unease regarding the implications of appointing a billionaire to such a significant role in the Pentagon. Matt Duss, the executive vice president at the Center for International Policy, voiced concern. Having this revolving door of people who sit on boards of major defense contractors and then cycle in and out of the Pentagon is a problem. On the other hand, supporters of Feinberg's nomination argue that his extensive experience in finance could bring innovative perspectives to defense strategy. They claim he may seek out effective collaborations across a competitive landscape dominated by established corporations. Looking forward, Feinberg's ability to juggle his business interests while serving in government hinges on his commitment to ethical standards. Reports suggest he is aware of existing regulations and would comply fully with the Office of Government Ethics rules and requirements. Still, both Feinberg and the Trump administration will face scrutiny from Congress regarding how he navigates potential conflicts. Given the administration's previous track records, skepticism around appointments has only intensified. The Senate confirmation process will undoubtedly amplify these conversations. Feinberg's appointment signifies greater changes within the Pentagon as it adapts to the evolving landscape of defense technology. His firm's focus includes investing in areas viewed as critical for U.S. military superiority, such as hypersonic technology. This represents a shift towards modernizing defense strategies amid increasing competition from global powers like China and Russia. Discussions about defense investments increasingly intertwine with the needs of national security. The challenge lies in ensuring that financial motives do not overshadow strategic objectives. Leadership within the Pentagon must prioritize the nation's interests over personal or corporate gains. As Trump readies his second term, the nomination of Stephen Feinberg for the Pentagon's Deputy Secretary position encapsulates the complexities now facing the U.S. military. His close ties to the defense industry raise tests of integrity and leadership. The extent to which he can separate his financial interests from his duties will ultimately determine the precedents set for this administration's handling of defense matters. Understanding the implications of this appointment, not just for the Pentagon but for broader U.S. policy, is essential as the nation navigates tumultuous geopolitical waters. The outcome of Feinberg's nomination will undoubtedly shape discussions around military governance and industry partnerships for years to come.